And entry number 23. He said that the bitachon a person has to have is in his heart and not to go and feel any anxiety or thoughts of doubting Hashem, Haz Shalom, and that is the highest form that a person should reach for when he wants to have bitachon. And he says, Zeu kavanat pasuk, and this is what the pasuk means. Haver harpati asher garti ki mishpatecha tovim. The pasuk says Tehillim in 119, remove my shame that I was afraid, for your ordinances are good. Meaning to say, King David was asking Hashem, forgive me. I had shame that I was afraid. Why should I have been afraid? I should have had bitachon. So now I'm ashamed that I didn't have bitachon, that I was afraid. Forgive me for this, that I was afraid. I should have had bitachon. Why? Ki akol letova. Everything Hashem does for good. I shouldn't have been afraid. From the fact that I was afraid, that means I didn't really have bitachon on Hashem. And now King David is asking Hashem, forgive me. I should have had bitachon. I'm sorry. As Mishlei says, the man's fear will bring a snare. Hashem says, why are you worrying? I don't understand. You're going to bring damage to yourself when you worry. Have bitachon. And King David says, you're right, Hashem. I'm sorry. I should have worked on it. I'm sorry I had lack of bitachon. Forgive me. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to come better. So therefore, this is what we have to learn from King David, that a person not to be scared, and showing him if you're scared, that means you really need to work on your bitachon. So he said before that a person has to do self-sacrifice. The Gemara says that why do the previous generations, previous generations, they have open miracles. We don't have open miracles today so much. The Gemara says because they're Masri Nafshayu on Kiddush Hashem. We're not Masri Nafshayu on Kiddush Hashem. They did self-sacrifice for the sake of God, and we don't do so much, not as much as they used to self-sacrifice for God. So we have to know the way you go, the way you're above nature, and you go above and beyond yourself. What does make Kiddush Hashem? Kiddush Hashem means you sanctified Hashem, and you sanctified yourself. Kadosh means separated. I separated myself from my desires and my human side of me, and I made it that I just do whatever I need to do for Hashem no matter what. So too, Hashem, when He sees this, that we do above our nature, Hashem will go above nature. Even though Hashem made laws of nature, He'll go above them and do it for us. And that's why we have to realize that it only comes with what? With Ara Bitachon. Working on Bitachon will motivate you to be able to go above and beyond everything that might hold you back. As the sages tells us in Masechet Brachot, B'chol levavecha, it says in the Shema, B'chol nafshecha, B'chol levavecha, B'chol nafshecha, B'chol me'odecha. B'chol levavecha, what is B'chol levavecha? All your heart. But it doesn't say your one heart. It says with all your hearts. It sounds like we have more than one heart. What does this mean? It means with Yetzer Hara and your Yetzer Hatov. By following our inclination to do the right thing, we're also not following the inclination, the evil inclination. But the sages tell us that this means that a person has to push himself to overcome his Yetzer Hara, even to have anxiety. That's also a part of a Yetzer Hara, not to do the right thing, not to have bitachon. And then b'chol nafshecha, even surrendering our lives, that's self-sacrifice at the highest. And then the b'chol me'odecha, all your resources, all your parnasah, all your money, and the way you do business, and the way you behave, and the way you move around material possessions. You have to also with bitachon, and all do it for the sake of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what we do with Kriyat Shema. Kriyat Shema, we're reaffirming on ourselves every single day, I believe in God and I'm willing to go and self-sacrifice in all those situations. We know, the sages tell us about Noah, right? Noah was lacking in emunah. So he did not enter the ark until the water reached his ankles, and then he ran into it, forced him to go into the ark. How could it be that Noah was a completely righteous man? We know that Surah tells Noah eats tzaddik, right? Tamim, right? He was a completely righteous man. How could it be that he didn't believe that Hashem was going to keep His word and bring the flood? So Cheskel Levenstein explains that Noah was having a hard time with the concept of Kol David Rahmana Letavavid. Everything Hashem does for the best. How can Hashem decide it's best to destroy the world and all humanity? Global disaster, that's what Hashem decided is good. So therefore Noah couldn't believe it. So therefore if it wasn't good, he couldn't believe that Hashem would do it because he didn't think it was good. So therefore he didn't think it was actually going to happen. But Noah mistaken that what? Even though we don't see why it's good and we don't understand why it's good, we must believe that it is good. If you notice, a lot of times in the seals of, let's say, the Justice Department or whatever, or in New York, the emblems that they have, you'll see a person holding the scales of the right and left side, but their eyes are covered. They have a blindfold, which means to say that the Zohar tells us that the emunah is like a young lady that has no eyes, that cannot see, which means emunah is deeper than seeing. Why? Because seeing is, okay, I see, that's why I believe it. What if I can't see? So I'm not going to believe. Emunah is, even though I don't see, even though I don't know why, I believe anyways. That's the level a person is supposed to try to reach. That we don't know always why Hashem does what He does. We don't always know how it's good. But the emunah is that we have to realize, if I'm in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I realize that He runs my life, and He is my Creator, and I believe in all that, so I have to believe this also. It's like a person saying, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat? Which side are you on? No, I'm in the middle. I believe this, but I don't believe that. No, if you believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, you believe in all His mitzvot are from the Torah, are divine, are real. So you also have to believe that everything Hashem does is for the best, and that's what it means to be religious. That's what it means to have emunah, and you have to realize you're in the hands of your Creator. He knows what He's doing. He wants you to be successful more than you want to be successful for yourself. Baruch Adonai Olam.